Okay, my name is Erika Hill, and I'm from Santa Barbara. Was born and raised here, and
in under a minute, could you give me a short, brief history of your life?
A brief history of my life in under a minute. Okay. I love the mountains. I love the trails. I was a kid on the trails here. My family's from here. I have a daughter here. I have a mother here. I had a grandmother here. And so I have roots in Santa Barbara.
Well, what trails have you been on?
I've hiked up and down most trails along the coast here.
Well, what are some of your favorites in the area?
Well, let's see, when I was younger, I used to hike up Cold Springs Trail every day after school and sit on the rocks there and bask in the sun. Some of my favorite trails right now, I would say, would be Toro Canyon and Rattlesnake.
Have you been on the Franklin Trail?
I have not.
Okay. Well, that's a nice new trail.
Yeah.
Tell me, describe your art.
Okay, well, I had a wonderful teacher in town here, and I'd say that my art...
Who was that?
Michael Drury. I was taught...
That's okay, I can hear you well, actually.
Okay. It's going to be patchy.
Yes.
So, I had a wonderful teacher. I have two friends that asked me whether or not I could come and paint with them in Michael Drury's class. It was about 12 years ago, and I started doing it and I love it. He got me hooked on the beauty of painting. I already love the outdoors, and one of the great things is that he would take us out and help us transcribe what we saw in the wild onto our paintings. And I believe that he knows a lot about the earth and geology, and I think that when you paint a painting, or he taught me to see the painting from the ground up. So the geology has to get in there, the smell of the air has to be there, the ocean has to be there, just the atmosphere. And it became kind of an addiction, really, because standing out in the wilds, you can really start sensing what a place is like. And since I'm from here, it kind of came out of me that, this is the place I grew up in that I love. So when I start painting, I feel like my feet are going down into the earth, and I'm bringing a little bit of what I see and feel onto the canvas. So it's a great, wonderful feeling when it goes well. Sometimes it doesn't.
What lessons have you learned from your painting?
Patience. Patience and understanding, because when you paint, they don't always, you may have an idea of what you want it to look like, and sometimes it doesn't do that. So I think patience and maybe a dedication to what's in your heart and what comes out. And it's a process, and I think it's something that it can be done, and it can take a lifetime.
Why would you say you paint?
I like being outside. I like color. I like design. I see there's a grand design in everything. So I try to interpret what I see into a design. And
is it satisfying when you reduce things down to a design?
It is. Yeah, it's satisfying because it's a flat piece of, it's a flat canvas. So it's a satisfying process to make something look beautiful, maybe look a little bit like what the area looks like, but it really isn't. It's my interpretation of what it's like. So that's satisfying, that I've been able to communicate something of what's inside me to the painting, and have that painting communicate to the people that look at it.
On kind of a different subject, what would you say is your advice for people how to be happy?
How to be happy. My advice is to, first of all, connect with others. Connect with yourself, connect with others, connect with the earth, connect with yourself. Just keep making connections.
How would you say you should go about connecting with yourself?
Well, connecting with yourself means sitting down and being quiet with yourself sometimes. Maybe looking at yourself in the mirror and saying nice things to yourself. Being kind to yourself. It's a good way to make a connection. Think about how, or you can think about how you were when you were a child and you were outside on a beautiful day and you felt happy just to be alive. And I think that child is always within us. And children typically like to be out in nature and the outdoors. And I think that they're making a connection. And so we still have that. So I think as we grow up and become adults and responsibility, we still need to remember that we're children too. Children of, you know, of everything that's beautiful.
Nice.
So.
On a separate subject, are there any stories your family or friends tell about you that that come to mind of something that happened or something funny or anything?
I'm trying to think. No, other than like, you know. You know, I have one story. It's not art related, but kind of. When I was in high school, I found an ad in the back of a Sunset magazine, and it says, come to Guatemala to learn to weave. And so I called the ad and signed up and used my money that I earned throughout the summer and flew to Guatemala, hooked up with people I didn't know, spent 10 days in Guatemala, and came home and realized that I didn't have any money. I flew back to LA. I didn't even know what to do. I had to have money to go back into the transit, through the transit lounge. So I called my parents and I had them come and pick me up. And when they picked me up, I was festooned with Guatemalan baskets and Guatemalan weavings, and my hair was braided, and I had these woven sandals, and they just smiled. They thought that was just, you know, a wonderful thing that this adventure that I went on my own. So.
Are there any lessons you brought from that experience?
Don't eat the street food the first night, and also just go ahead and take those adventures. Even don't be afraid. I paid a little bit with having an uncomfortable tummy, but that was about it. I made lifelong friends, and I learned how to weave from a 7-year-old. So it was a wonderful experience.
So you need to take chances to grow?
I think that's how we grow, is taking chances. I don't think we grow just by staying in one place. We have to keep moving and taking chances, yes.
Can you show me one of your pieces?
Oh yeah, one of my pieces. This is one of my pieces right here.
Describe it.
This was a beautiful area of the coastline here at Elwood Shores, and I watched the wind pattern in the grasses that day, and I particularly love this bush because I like coyote bush. I think they're really fun to paint. So I stood by this bush and decided that this was the best way to start my painting. And then from there I traveled on.